So the talk I would like to do today is to explain why do we need machine learning in IDEs. Now the topics I would like to cover is a few words about JetBrains if you don't know already what we are. Then I would like to assist areas where we can assist with machine learning, following which I would like to present some of our projects. And afterwards, I'd like to explain how we take an idea and implement it in IDEA, IntelliJ IDEA. So about JetBrains. Basically, we're creators of the following tools, as you see on the screen. I hope. Actually, how many people don't know what JetBrains is? Okay, so everyone knows what JetBrains is. Awesome. Yeah, our headquarters are actually in Prague, so pretty close. Machine learning team accounts for 28 people, and the research team 17 people. So they're researchers. They don't work with code, but also devote their time into machine learning. So let's talk about the areas where we can assist with machine learning. So actually, we took a look at professional Java developers, and what we found is that 50% of the time they spend outside. Oh, sorry. Should do it here. 50% of the time they spend outside of the code. This goes for meetings, plannings, learning, etc. Then another huge chunk of it is 35%, and that goes for understanding code. Next up, we've got other code-related activities. These are things like debugging. And now there's this small chunk left. And that chunk is actually writing code. So it's a tiny fraction, actually. So our projects aim to target these different areas and help developers become more productive. We've got things like similarity grouping and find usages, classification and predictions of refactorings, full line code completion so that writing is much quicker, machine learning in Search Everywhere, and many more projects. Today I would like to focus on machine learning in Search Everywhere, which is a project I started working on last year as an intern, and I'm still continuing to improve it. So, does everyone know what Search Everywhere is? Is there any person that doesn't know anything about Search Everywhere? Who doesn't use IntelliJ, maybe? Okay. Basically, Search Everywhere, what it allows you to do is to search for anything within the project as well as the IDE. So you can look for files, you can also look for actions. So let's suppose there is a problem. I have to navigate to the machine learning service of Search Everywhere. So I can use Search Everywhere for that. So I'm going to go into Files tab, and I'm going to type ML service. But actually, none of these files look like the file I'm looking for. So I type maybe search ML service, and yeah, finally I've got the file that I'm looking for. Okay, nice, but I had to type 3 words. Can we do better? And we can consider the following. Actually, the file I was looking for is a file that I access quite frequently. Also, as a Kotlin developer, I'm not interested in Java files that were there or some other file types. I would be looking for a Kotlin file because that's what the files I'm working on. And also, package-wise, that file was very close. So what we can do is add simple heuristics to already existing Search Everywhere algorithm, but actually, that's going to become very hard to maintain. So what do? That's the time for machine learning. So we start with data collection. We look at, it's a very interesting, quite hard process because you have to be creative. You have to think, okay, if I'm looking for a file, what information can I get about the file that will help me kind of prioritize it? So we already mentioned things like frequency of usage, frequency of the file type or the language, maybe a few things like package distance and so on. We also have module-related data. So for example, is the file that I'm looking for in the same module that my currently open file is? Or maybe it's accessible from that module. In total, we have about 50 features that help us to rank files in Files tab of Search Everywhere. Then comes the second and the third part where we analyze the data and we try to train a model. If everything goes right, we will take the model further. But many times you actually realize, oh, I don't have enough features. I'll have to go back to the first stage and again, implement the features and wait for more data to come. But let's assume everything went okay. We're happy with the offline results that we have of our model, and we can go forward. So now we're going to deploy our model as an experimental model. What that means is that during our early access preview versions, some users will get the files ranked by a machine learning model, and the other fraction of users, they'll just use the default system, the default search algorithm, ranking algorithm rather, to do the sorting. What this allows us to do is to use the rest of the users as a baseline, because if anything changes to the default ranking system of Search Everywhere, we can be sure that we compare what Search Everywhere is and what it is with machine learning and without machine learning. If we compared it to, let's say, old data, how it was before we added machine learning for everyone, then there is a chance that actually maybe Search Everywhere improved, and we've got no way to track this. That's why there's the next stage, A/B testing. So I already mentioned that we have one group which gets the machine learning and one group that doesn't get it. So we collect data during early access preview, and then we perform A/B testing. What we're looking for is if there are any improvements to the selected file's position, if the file you're looking for is now in, let's say, top 1 or top 2, that's a great improvement. We're also looking for reduction of search query length. The less characters you type, the better. And that also means that if you need to type less characters, your session will be much shorter. You'll need much less time to search for the file you're looking for. And yeah, once again, we'll assume that everything went perfectly, and we can deploy the model. Otherwise, if it fails, we go back to step 1. We collect more features. So what's the result of this? We had to look at this problem, and now let's see how machine learning can actually improve this. So again, I'm searching for the same stuff, but now I just need to type ML and SCR, and I already have my machine learning service as the first result. So this is amazing. Now, what about next steps? So we already have the machine learning in the file step. It seems to be working great. But where do we take this further? So what we have is actually other types of Search Everywhere. Actually, 75% of Search Everywhere users use all tab. So that's one that needs to be focused on, although the problem is that actually all tab mixes everything. So it's a nice challenge for us as well to make it better. But what's good about JetBrains is that we use our products as well. So Search Everywhere for us is the default way to navigate within our project. This means that actually what we're trying to do is really optimize our work. And you can say that coincidentally we improve your work as well. There is also another issue with searching, is that many times you have a method, you know what it does, but you don't know its name. And with things like synonym or word order, it's very, very hard to find the method that you're looking for. So what we're working on just now is ability to use natural language to search for any symbol, any method that you have within your project. And there's also going to be support for typographical errors, which we make quite often, and it's always a pain when you have to go back to a couple of characters, retype again because you just made a simple error. So if that sounds like something you want to try, please consider actually using early access preview version of IntelliJ. That way, first we get more data so we can make more better decisions. The more data we have, the better the decisions we can make, because we've got more data to support our experiments. And then, yeah, what you get is boosting your productivity. So it's, I think, win-win for everyone. And also, if this sounds like your dream project, we've got internship projects, we've got job positions where you can apply. And if coding is not your thing, we also have research positions where you can focus on researching machine learning. So yeah, thank you everyone. And if you want to contact me, feel free to scan the QR code and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Very speedy.
I was trying my best.
The first questions is for what future do you want to implement machine learning next?
For what features? So in terms of search everywhere, what we're trying to do right now is implement ranking in classes tab and all tab, two very popular tabs of search everywhere. And yeah, we've got other projects, as I listed. Similarity grouping and find usages, for example, is a very important one because often we use existing code to understand how to use a certain method. Unfortunately, with find usages, if you do that, you're likely to get few hundred results which are unclassified by our existing algorithm. And with machine learning, what we can do is actually cluster them based on usages, and it will just make you be able to understand code hopefully much quicker.
Okay, thank you. And celebrate for Adam.
Right, thank you.
A jenom bych zmínil, že autorem ještě tady přibyly další dvě otázky. Two questions more. What kind of model do you use in machine learning? Do you write your own machine learning model?
So for files, we use CatBoost. For actions, we found already good results with random forest. With other tabs, it's still in experimental stages, so we're trying both random forest and CatBoost, see which one performs better. But what it seems like now is that actions is actually very simple because we've got limited set of them. So it's much easier to train a model, but with files, with how much file name can change and so on, CatBoost seems to perform better.
Okay, thank you. And the last question is, what do you think about GitHub Copilot and projects like this?
Ooh, a very controversial question. What I think of it, from what I've seen, there are quite a lot of issues with it, especially with what we've seen right now. Unfortunately, I don't have any link to it, but GitHub Copilot seems to steal a significant chunk of code from someone else, so there's also the morality question. But otherwise, from a developer's perspective, I'm not really sure. On one hand, yeah, you can write your code faster, but the question is, do you then have to go through every line and make sure that it's correct? I mean, I guess if you have already tests existing for it, then it should be fine, but it's a very hard question. Like, it's maybe for another talk, I guess.
Okay, thank you.